स्वादयन्निह सर्वेषाम् त्रय्यन्तार्थम् सुदुर्ग्रहम् स्तोत्रयामास योगीन्द्रः तम् वन्दे यामुनाह्वयम्। नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः। नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः। यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यान विध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहम् यामुनेयम् नमामि तम्। स्वधर्मज्ञानवैराग्य साध्यभक्त्येकगोचरः नारायणः परम् ब्रह्म गीताशास्त्रे समीरितः। श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि।
Now, with regard to the Supreme Soul, so Idrisham, this type of Idrisham is this type of Cha, so here and Avatara Mahatmyam, the greatness of the incarnation. Thank you for all the praise. Okay, so Avatara Mahatmyam, the greatness of the incarnation. Atra here, Niramanti. Niramanti meaning has been explained. Has been explained. So Nikhila, Heya Pratyanika Kalyanika Tanasyapi. Now, Lord, the Supreme Soul, Sriman Narayana, has got all the auspicious characteristics unlimitedly. And at the same time, he has no bad quality. Bad qualities are avoidable and he has avoided. So all the bad qualities are avoided. Nikhila, Nikhila meaning all. Heya, Heya means avoidable bad qualities. Then Kalyanaikatana, the Pratyanika Kalyanaikatana, especially only the auspicious qualities. Ekatana is only oneness in the nature of all the qualities, namely the auspiciousness, Kalyana. Then Bhagavataha, now these words are in Shakti Vibhakti. Nikhila Heya Pratyanika Kalyanaikatanasya. Bhagavataha, api meaning it has no very great significance here. It doesn't mean even, but it means also here. Bhagavataha Janmana, so by the birth of the Lord. Shakti Vibhakti means genitive case, yeah. So Janmana is Tritiya Vibhakti, instrumental case. So by the birth, we don't call it so, though the first line says Avatara Mahatmyam. Now here it says Janmana, because we cannot understand fully the difference between the incarnation and the birth. So Janmana, to be very exact, Kausalya had 12 months pregnancy. And as you all know, practically, the male sperm remains in the man for 2 months, and there are 10 months pregnancy is in the woman. So totally 12. And therefore, while calculating the age, the Upanayanam, the sacred thread ceremony, is to be performed at the 7th age 7. Why we say age 7? Because of the pregnancy consumes 1 year. And therefore, the initiation is at the age of 8. Here, so Bhagavataha Janmana, so by the birth of the Lord, Indrajala Vinimatya. It looks like magic. Indrajalam is magic. The very birth incarnation of the Lord is like magic. To give you example, Lord Krishna was born to Devaki with 4 hands. So he wanted to practically show to her without any doubt that he is the Lord who is born to him, born to her. If it is normal with just human hands in number 2, then she may not believe. He came down with 4 hands. And therefore, Indrajala Vinimatya. Vinimatya meaning with you can say intelligence. So apitu Satyam, it is true. Lord is true. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Vedavakyam says Satyam. Truth is God. And the truth is his birth or incarnation is amazing magic. Then Avataramsha, all the incarnations, Avataramsha, it is in what you call accusative case. That's why the Anuswara is very much necessary there. Avataramsha. Then Bhagavan Asmadadivat na jnana sankochadiman bhavati. Now, though we say that the Lord is born, starting from any avatara, we say Krishna is born, Rama is born, but by the birth, he is different from our birth. Bhagavan, the Lord, Asmadadivat, like ourselves, Asmat means you, yes, us. So Asmadadivat means not only human being but also any other creature also, living being, any living being. The birth of any living being, just like ours. So Jnana Sankocha Adiman na bhavat. He has no lacuna of knowledge. His knowledge is not diminished. Whereas all of us, except him, have only some knowledge. We have no what we call sarvajnatvam, knowing everything, knowing beyond time, knowing beyond place. All these are all not there with us. So he is very unique that he has no jnana sankocha. Sankocha is rather contraction. There is no contraction. There is no what we call abridgment of the knowledge. So jnana sankochadiman na bhavati. He has no what we call little knowledge. He has got all the knowledge. Then kintu but though we call him as being born, ajatva, he has no birth. Ajaha meaning na jayate iti ajaha. Ajaha in ordinary sense can mean goat. And here it is Ajaha is a special name for Lord Creator, Brahma. But Ajaha often refers to Lord Sriman Narayana. He is unborn. He has no birth. Meaning, by showing that he has been born, even then he has no special what we call characteristics of the any living being on earth in the creation. So Ajatva is he is unborn. The quality of his unborn. And then Ajatva Avyayatva, he is immutable. His quality of immutability. the Avyayatva. Then Sarveshwaratva. He is omnipotent. He is omnipotent. Sarveshwaratva. The quality of his, or rather omnipotence. He is his omnipotence. So all these three, Ajatva, Avyayatva, Sarveshwaratva, then etc., Adikam, and many more qualities. Sarvam, all. Parameshwaram, that belongs to Parameshwara, the highest deity, highest almighty. Swabhavajam Ajahat. It's a beautiful expression. Swabhavam, the innate nature, original form. Swabhavam. Ajahat. Na jahati. He doesn't give up. He doesn't give up the original quality. Even in incarnation, he has the same quality. Ajahat eva avatarati. So without sacrificing or without giving up the natural qualities of the Lord, he is incarnating. Eva avatarati. Again, nacha avatara vigraha, the frame, the physical frame of the incarnation is again asya gunatrayamayaha prakritaha. This is what we call Purva Pakshaha in Shastra. Purva Paksha meaning the what we call hypothesis. In proving a theorem, we have what we call to achieve a derivation. We have what we call we consider, we imagine. This is what we call hypothesis. The hypothesis is given first. Avatara vigraha gunatrayamayaha, meaning the figure of the incarnation contains all the three qualities: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Rajas, as you know, the haughtiness; tamas is, as you know, the ignorance. All these three qualities are there in the Lord. That is the first argument. Then prakritaha, he is natural. He has been made up of a matter called the prakriti of this world. And pratyuta, or pratyuta means or. This is a question. Is he full of three qualities and natural, or pratyuta otherwise aprakrita shuddha sattva mayaha? Does his physical frame contain only the sattva quality? Again, that sattva quality is called Shuddha Sattva, pure Sattva. There is nothing called impure Sattva. There is nothing called impure Sattva, bad Sattva. So, Aprakrita Shuddha Sattva, Aprakrita is unnatural, otherwise you can say supernatural. Supernatural. Whereas Prakrita is natural. So, supernaturality is in the body. Aprakrita Shuddha Sattva Mayaha. Mayaha meaning full. Full of Sattva quality. Again, Shuddha Sattva quality associated with Aprakrita Shariram. What we call the body will be supernatural. Extraordinarily different. Then Nacha Asya Janma Punya Rupena Karmana. Again, the what we call the opponent's view is his birth involves both merits and demerits. Sins. That is not so. So, Nacha, not so. Asya, of this Lord, Janma, birth, consists of Punya and Apunya, the merit and the demerit. Rupena, Karmana, because of the action, because of his action. He is also involved in gaining merits and earning sins. No, that is not so. He cannot gain merit, he cannot earn sins. So punya, apunya, there is no question of punya and apunya with regard to the birth of the god. Then apitu, moreover, swechaya eva. Whatever he does it with his own will, on his own desire. Swechaya eva. Icha means desire. Swechaya is his own desire. So swechaya eva is only by his own desire. Then nava karma vipaka kale asya janma. We must not think otherwise, namely, he is born at the end of his result, the result of his good and bad action. Whenever we say karma vipaka, what we call the digestion or the cooking, or you can say fructification, fructification of an action. That's called karma vipaka. The karma vipaka kale means as if comparing us to him. Suppose he has a birth like us, and then he performs good deeds, he commits bad deeds. So with this, these two, he is also experiencing the happiness and the unhappiness also. That is why karma vipaka kale asya janma na. His birth is not available at the end of his action. He is always active. Lord is always active. His actions are always continuous. He never stops acting. So karma, this is like just a man, human being, who has to reap the fruits of his merits and suffer the consequence of the demerit. So karma vipaka kale asya janma na. So he is not born as a result of the action. Then apitu dharma glani adharma utthana kale. So what happens is yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. We are reminded of this Bhagavad Gita verse in the 4th chapter by this sentence in the commentary. So dharma glani, you are let up of, or let down of the righteousness, dharma glani. Then adharma utthanam, the unrighteous action raises its ugly head. So abhyutthanam is rather adharma utthanam. So both of them, when they are attempting to come out, progressing, then napi bhagavad janma sukhadakka mitrani phalani. So janmanaha, sorry, neither bhagavad janmanaha, because of the birth of the God, from the birth of the God, there is no pleasure and pain attached. Sukha dukkha mishrani phalani. The fruits are not mixed up with pleasure and pain. Then the two-way, the two methods of splitting is not there in his birth. And again, that means he doesn't get involved in the good deeds and the bad deeds of the human beings. Then api also, or even tarhi, then sadhu paritrana. Already we have the verse in fourth chapter. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So that verse is quoted by in prose form by Swami Vedanta Deshika in his Gita Sangraha Raksha. Sadhu Paritrana, protecting the good people. Sadhu, good people, Paritrana, protection. Sadhu in Sanskrit doesn't mean a monk. He is not a recluse. Sadhu means a good person. So Sadhu Paritrana, protecting the good people. Kama Dushkrit Vinasana, destroying the wicked. Dushkrit is wicked, one who does bad. And Vinasana is destroying, so annihilating the bad. Dushkrit Vinasana. Then Dharma Samsthapanadini. Then re-establishing the righteousness in the world, an order in the world, a rhythm in the world, the discipline in the world. So in order to do that, Swarupataha, with the original form, Swarupataha is from the original form. He uses his physical frame and his original form. Prakarataha, according to the methods, Prakarataha. Dravyataha, according to the materials. Then Karanataha, because of the reasons. Then Kalataha, because of the time. Prayojanataha, depending on the usage, advantage. And lastly, Divyatvam. He has the divinity. So in his own original form, he is divine because of the difference between him and all the living beings in the earth. By the method of strategy, by the materials, by the reasons or causes, by time, and by the usage. Lord is different from us. Lord Sriman Narayana is completely a non-living being of this world. He is opposed to the living being's quality. So the last but one line is very easy to understand. And that is the purpose of the incarnation. Protecting the good people and destroying the bad people. This is how now we understand Bhagavan Vivakshitaha. In the fourth chapter, what is the nature of the Lord? That has been explained here in detail. So this is the 48th commentary.
Swami, my first question is about, or my comment or question is, this word sankocha. Sankocha means contraction.
Yeah.
It can also mean shrinking or compression.
Yeah, shrinking. Yeah, shrinking.
Yeah. So it can also mean abridgment or diminution or limitation, restriction.
Yeah.
So how does the knowledge of the Jivatman, how is it shrunk? Is it that because some people are saying originally the Atman's knowledge should not be shrunk, and it becomes shrunk. In Advaita Vedanta they talk about adhyasa, that the Atman, the individual soul, is covered by some illusion, or Brahman is covered by a superimposition of Maya. So how does the Advaitic understanding of superimposition, adhyasa, relate to this idea of jnana sankosha, of the jnana of the individual jiva being suppressed or shrunk?
It is not the what you call something or something called full knowledge, complete knowledge was there earlier, and then it has now shrunk. No, with the limitation of knowledge, we have limited wisdom. Two examples will be: we are not sarvajñas because we don't know about our past, especially birth, and we do not know about anything about the future. And we are also groping in the dark for the present to understand what is present. So all kinds of ignorance. We don't know how Bhagavan is. Though all Shastras say, and we also describe, all the photos are there. But does he remain with the quality or the quantitative measurement? And so we have a lot of ignorance. That is what we say is jnana sankocha. If we are trying to understand who God is, we fail miserably. And because we don't study scriptures and understand scriptures, it is what we call handicap. Our handicap is we are not studying the scriptures. Even when we study the scriptures, we don't understand them properly. And that is ignorance. Basically speaking, no knowledge is complete. Whatever we have started to study, taking for example, 3 births by Bharadwaja Maharishi, he understood later that 300 years are not enough to even know a small, tiny object. So that means limited wisdom. We do not know what to do. We do not have. So jnana, in all aspects, we are ignorant. Everywhere our knowledge is limited. That is the meaning of the word shrunk, sankocha, jnana sankocha. It is not that you acquired everything, every knowledge, and then now it has become small. No. Already all of us are ignorant in many ways, in many physical activities also we are not perfect. Then so it's not a question of what we call something was there before and then become smaller by shrinking. No. Jnana sankocha. Sankocha doesn't mean, as we say it in Tamil, hesitation. It is not hesitation. Generally, we use it in Tamil for a shy person who has got hesitation to talk. So here, Jnana Sankocha occurs for all the creations without any exception. There is no one who has achieved the Jnana Yoga in full. Of course, Muktas are there, released souls are there. Nityasuris are there in Sri Vaikuntha. But all the souls who went there, like called Muktaha, released souls, they have, of course, the full knowledge, complete knowledge of Brahman. Again, knowledge when you refer to knowledge of the Lord. And that's what we call Jnana Sankocha. There is no Jnana Sankocha for the God, whereas we have a lot of Jnana Sankocha, meaning we have no knowledge of anything. Or we can say we have no complete knowledge of anything. We do not know anything in full. That's what we call Jnana Sankocha. The Lord has known Jnana Sankocha, meaning it goes beyond the time and the place. So that kind of knowledge is not there with us. We cannot foresee things exactly. We sometimes forget the past also.
So what I got out of this particular class was that there were three verses in Bhagavad Gita that were highlighted. The first was 4:9, Janma karma chame divyam evam yovati tatpadaha taktva deham puna jamma naiti mamiti sojana. That first of all, Vedanta Deshika is emphasizing that the Lord has a divine birth, that his birth is not an ordinary birth, and he's saying very clearly it's not the same for us, that we are born because of our past karmas, our past punya and papa, and that the Lord is not born like that. So that's the first thing that he says. Then he goes back to these two and emphasizes these two other verses which come right before that in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya and Paritranaya Sadhunam, and he gives the essence of these verses also, because he wants to point out the reasons why the Lord takes birth. Because first of all, he says the Lord doesn't take birth for the reason of he has punya and papa. Right? So we take birth because we have punya and papa. He doesn't take birth because of punya and papa. Then he says, so what then is the reason why he takes birth? And then he gives this Gita 4:7 and 4:8 as the reasons why he takes birth. So basically these two verses, 4:7 and 4:8, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya and Paritranaya Sadhunam, they give us the reason why any avatar comes. These are the reasons why the Lord incarnates in every time he incarnates and comes to deliver the pious, annihilate the miscreants, and to establish Dharma, the principles of religion. And he comes age after age, yuge, to do that. So I'm just wondering, sometimes we see an avatar come, like Lord Narasimha avatar is a very quick avatar. He comes and he kills Hiranya and he saves Prahlada, and then he leaves. So where is the Dharma Samstapana? Where is the preaching of some religious principles? In that case, I mean, Lord Krishna spoke the Gita. Even Rama, is there they are just showing Dharma by their example, or does an avatar have to actually teach some teachings like Lord Krishna is teaching the Gita?
Okay, that's right. You are right.
Okay.
I think Mama here in Prahlada Narsimha Avatara, his bhakti brings out everything, as Keshavdas said, is by his action. Prahlad's action is so much devotion. That itself proves that we all have to be like Prahlada. That's what I learned from that story. And Narsimha's his sincere love for his bhaktas, how he came and showed his anger for the Hiranyakashipu, and just so there are two beautiful examples of the God's love for us and Bhakta's devotion for God. I think that's perfect. I think Narsimha Avatara is the best example for us.
Yes, I agree, because in many other avatars, the Lord comes because the Devas go to Shirabdi. The Devas go to see Lord Vishnu and they say, we have a big problem. And Lord Vishnu says, okay, I'm going to fix your problem. And he fixes the problem of many people. But in the Narasimha avatar, he comes only for one person. He comes only for one little boy. He makes avatar only for one little boy.
But he sets an example. So it'll happen to you also. Just devotion, have devout love for me. That's all. I think that's just an example. I think.
If you think that he has come down only for a little boy, you are mistaken.
Yeah.
Because Hiranyakashipu was troubling all the gods. Hiranyakashipu did not trouble only his son. He troubled everyone else. And therefore he had to be killed. He did not incarnate just for, we say, he was born, you can say, he incarnated from the pillar because he was in every object in the world, rather with fear, expecting the boy or the boy's father, namely Hiranyakashipu, to point out a particular object to say, Lord is there. Even in inert objects, I think I told you, Achetana, the insentient object of nature, Lord resides everywhere. Lord resides everywhere, without any exception. And therefore, only in that case of, in the case of Hiranyakashipu, Narasimha Avatara had to be there as an incarnation. We say in Sanskrit, Satyam Vidhatum Nijabhritya Bhashitam. In order to prove his own servant's word. Servant, Bhritya. Bhritya is servant, porter, Porter. One who carries your luggage. Porter. And this, so Nijabhritya Bhashitam, his own servant. Prahlada was telling Hiranyakashipu where Narasimha is. And therefore, not for just the boy. It is only to save all the gods from the trouble given by Hiranyakashipu. I mean, every demon for our information, like Jarasandhan, the father-in-law of Kamsa, and so many demons who came to kill Krishna along with the lady Putana, and so on, so many. And even the demons are relieved because the fight stops. Narasimha Avatara fight is momentary. It's only for the evening of the day, not even morning. It's not a full day. Whereas in Mahabharata war, you find that every war is fought from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is, before the sun sets, they must stop the war. That's why we call it Dharma Yuddha. And that is.
And also in Prahlada, what I learned is a total faith in God. It's just total surrender, like Draupadi. So it's just, I think the total surrender, how much difficulty he was in, still, come on, even he just didn't give up his faith on God. Yeah.
Already, Mami, you have, we discussed that Karma Yoga involves all the other two yogas, and mutually they are complementary.
Yeah.
And not because Prahlada has practiced Bhakti Yoga, he has also done his Karma Yoga as well, and he acquired knowledge also. Now, all of us, I think, recall to our mind that his mother, Shadru, when she was ancient, pregnant, Narada came and gave the child stories of God. And therefore, Prahlada has got what we call Jayamana Kataksham. Normally, when some child speaks very well, we are is rich, when a child is rich by birth in a rich family, then we say born with a silver spoon in the mouth. So when the child starts talking very beautifully, then we say Hayagriva's blessings are there. And in the same way, Prahlada had Jayamana Katak, the vision of the Lord even before birth or during pregnancy. During pregnancy. And Arjuna's son Abhimanyu also had the strategy of war, how to enter into a Chakravyuham, heard by the child in the womb of the mother. And therefore that again is Jayamana Kataksha, meaning the blessing from the looks, again from the corners of the eye, makes a wonderful living being. That is what Prahlada is. The word Prahlada meaning gives a lot of bliss, makes everybody happy. So over to Swamiji.
Swami, I don't really have any other questions about this particular verse.
Right.
Yeah, I think this particular commentary I think is very clear, and we knew a lot of we knew about the qualities of the Lord before, and so he's just explaining about this part of the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and
basically the difference between the individual soul and the supreme soul, the uniqueness of the individual soul, and the large difference between the individual and the supreme soul are also very importantly stressed in this 4th chapter. And of course, by reading about the Lord, by reading about God, one cannot understand fully. The understanding will come by realization in the mind, and the time of realization is fixed by the Lord, and therefore he will always bless us with again, as we said yesterday, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So a man becomes a human being becomes very, very wise or completely wise after many births. And therefore, whatever little knowledge we acquire in a particular birth is not enough. Later on, Lord blesses the individual soul to be born again so many times to have full knowledge. Jnani to Atmaiva Matam. He says, my inner soul is the wise man. Normally, the inner soul, he is the inner soul of all the living beings. But he says, he is the inner soul, Antaryami, the individual soul is the Antaryami person. When the individual soul is full of knowledge. The knowledge must be beyond time and place. Okay.
So just one other question here. So in moksha, the Jivatman in moksha, he has knowledge, full knowledge.
Yeah. In moksha he has full knowledge.
But we see in the leelas, in the different leelas of the different avatars, for instance, Mother Yasoda is the mother of Krishna, and she thinks Krishna is her baby, her child, and she sees in his mouth the universe.
She has two sides. One, on some occasions, she feels it is a human child. But on some occasions, she realizes that it is divine.
So this is due to some. Krishna says, "Mama Maya Duratyaya." He says,
this is illusion created by him as a sport. He wants to play with the creation.
Yes. Now, so that happens only in this Leela Vibhuti, or can that happen in Nitya Vibhuti also?
So it can happen only in Leela Vibhuti, because it is only meant for Leela. Whereas Nitya Vibhuti is not meant for Leela.
Right. So some other Vaishnava sects, they have, like the Gaudiyas, they have this idea that they can go to Vaikuntha, and in Vaikuntha Krishna will be there, and they will interact with Krishna, but they will also be covered like Mother Yasoda. They will not know that Krishna is God. They will only know him as their friend, or a little boy, or their child. It's not possible in moksha to feel like that, to be covered by any Maya.
Yeah. According to Advaita concept, Lord has Maya, Brahma has Maya, but this Maya, the illusion, is dismissed in the case of the Ishvara, the Lord Almighty. He has no Maya, but he has created Maya, and he is not attached to Maya, and he has created illusion that as soon as we are born in this world, already we know that the air called the Shatavayu surrounds the individual soul, and therefore he forgets everything. The previous birth we do not know. We do not know the previous birth. We do not know about the future. We are not able to understand Lord fully. All these are all due to Maya.
Right.
Kurathalvan, Alavandar, Yamunacharya says in his Chatushloki, Maya Jaganmohi. The Maya, the illusion will confuse the world.
So just to get this straight, in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they have a concept that there are two types of Maya, two types of illusion. There is a Maha Maya, which covers the people who are Bada Jivas, the Jivatman who is in this world, but the Jivatman who is in this world, who is like who is a Nitya Siddha, Nitya, like Jaya Vijaya, when they come, they're Nityas. Okay, so, and or even I don't know if Yasoda is a Nitya, but or Devaki, but people who are Nityas, when they come to this world, they're covered by a different type of Maya. They call it Yoga Maya. It is the Maya for the people who are Nityas. Normally in moksha they have all knowledge, but when they are in Leela, they have their knowledge is covered sometimes. So they say when you go to moksha, also this Yoga Maya can be there, and it can cover you with some ignorance in moksha. Is it possible?
Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.